What's going on, everybody? Yeah, interesting times we got going on. So, Bitcoin isn't really pumping too much, but everything else is pumping. And a lot of the KRC20s are pumping too. I want to run down through everything. I also want to talk about a few of the coins from last cycle I mentioned in my last live stream that sort of like pumped to the moon without any centralized exchanges. But yeah, we got some bullish stuff going on. We got some really good stuff going on. We got yeah, I mean, we got 3 bills that were signed recently. We got the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and the anti-CBDC whatchamacallit Act, and so on. So yeah, so that happened. So buy $100 of Bitcoin a week, and people will look like you're crazy. Spend $100 a week on Starbucks and fast food, and people call it self-care. Society conditions you to stay poor. To stay poor. Yeah. So, yeah. One thing with these bills that are being signed, I wonder if in the future there's going to be like too much regulation. It's just going to like prevent a another bull run, or I don't know. It's just a concern that you never know. But so for the most part, it's good things are happening with the bills. It's very, very, very bullish. I was looking into the Clarity Act. I didn't hear about that beforehand. I mean, before this past week, and it's just basically just helps transparency into projects and things like that. So I mean, like, it sounds, I don't know the extreme details of it, but I mean, yeah, it sounds good enough. But I'm just always concerned with regulation. So not only that, the other reasons why there might not be another bull run, another bull cycle. Wall Street is taking over. They don't allow Bitcoin to pump sometimes, and then there's of course, the halving is becoming more and more insignificant, things like that. But yeah. So so on Friday, Ethereum Classic. This was funny when I saw this. Leads Friday's rally with a 20% breakout. So Ethereum Classic is basically a useless coin. It's Ethereum. It's the Ethereum before the Ethereum of today. It's the proof of work Ethereum, the old Ethereum, which is essentially useless. I was actually surprised that it was actually surging. So you got the dinosaurs right here, the dinos, right? I think Ethereum Classic is more than a dino token. It's more of a fossil token. But anyways, that was interesting. So what else is going on? So we got Mei Farmer raises $100 million to launch a Litecoin's treasury strategy, becoming the first publicly traded company to hold Litecoin, which is interesting. I had given up on Litecoin. I'd played Litecoin for a few cycles, and I was like, okay, it's just an old coin now. And then so just, I don't know what it was, maybe 6 months ago. I guess it was after Trump got elected. I started buying into more Litecoin. I figured, yeah, it's a strong play. They're talking about ETFs. They're talking about, it was put on the Made in America list and things like that. So I was like, caused me to like rethink a lot of the tokens I was going to disregard from last bull run. And a lot of them can be bullish. You get stuff like HBAR and stuff, it doesn't have good tokenomics, but you have to acknowledge that it's probably gonna pump, and they're doing interesting things too. Like RWAs and then things like that. So it's a different game this cycle. But anyways, I don't have any HBAR, but I did get some more Litecoin this cycle. But this was actually interesting. What else is next? So BitOrigin secures $500 million to launch Doge Coins treasury. Yeah, so similar to that. So it's an OG meme coin, but it's still a dino. Yeah, and I came across this article. This is actually kind of funny. So this is how the normies get misled into buying things, right? top crypto coins under $1 to buy today. So monster altcoin season meets bull run. Okay, top crypto coins under $1. I'm like, what? So I think so. What this article is trying to do is it's trying to entice the noobs into thinking if there's a particular coin that has a value, each individual coin has a value under $1, then it's like an awesome play. So, and if you look at coins under $1, you know, they put, you know, obviously Dogecoin, Cardano, and so on. So, I mean, like, these are not necessarily good plays. They're safe plays. They're safer. But like, what can you get out of them? Like a 4x, you know, maybe a 5, 6x. You know, anything in the tens of billions is you know, it's something that's not going to necessarily pump. It's so I guess, I don't know. It's kind of a strange way to look at it. Sort of like a noob perspective for people who don't know any better. But the noobs will buy these tokens. Obviously, if they buy them now, if they buy them at the top, they're screwed like everybody else who buys at the top. But the noobs will buy these tokens and they'll come out ahead, you know, like 3, 4, 5, you know, 7, 8x or whatever. And they'll be, okay, that was great. So Coinpedia is, I guess, playing it safe. So nobody gets pissed off like they list the wrong tokens or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, it's kind of funny. Then Coinbase lists pump token. This is rather interesting. Pump token after 500 million ICO. So it's kind of funny because it goes back to the whole thing where, like, when is Kaspa going to get listed? You know, actually Pump, one of the, you know, Pump.fun is one of the worst, you know, platforms, whatever, just destroy the ecosystem. And then it's suddenly listed on, you know, it's suddenly listed on Coinbase. So I don't know. Before Kaspa, like Farcoin, who'd have thought listed before Kaspa? But I believe there's a plan, right? I believe that there's a plan. When things are pumping like absolute, you know, things are absolutely insane, then they'll list Kaspa, and then it'll go parabolic. So fingers crossed that that's the case. So yeah, Bitcoin dominance sinks as Ethereum and XRP rise, which is bullish. So yeah, Ethereum, I mean, Ethereum has to pump in order for all the other alts to pump, right? Ethereum has to pump first. So it's yeah, it's getting there, right? Jeez. Did it just did it reach its all-time high of this cycle? Of the side, not the true all-time high. Yeah, that's different. But yeah, it's getting there. So it's just interesting right now is Bitcoin dominance looks like this, crashing through the floor. I guess right now it hit resistance at 60%. So there's different ways. I think I went over this in my last video, how you define a bull run. I'm sorry, how you define alt season. And hold on, let me switch. No, do I need to switch now? So usually, and I'm slowing down, of course. Too many tabs make me slow down. So I mean, yes, there's one of the different ways is one of the ways that I define alt season is that, you know, when Bitcoin dominance goes below 50%, so then it's like alt season. So a lot of people define it. Other people define it as Bitcoin dominance. Let's go to the month. If I can open this up. Jeez, come on. The other way to define it is Bitcoin dominance just going down and out, and the alts are outperforming. So from here, from all the way down in this previous cycle, as well as the last cycle, 2021, in this 11-month time period, Bitcoin dominance going down, 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 while Bitcoin still increases in value, even though its dominance is going down, and the alts are outperforming it. And end of the cycle is when Bitcoin reaches its top, and Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin is value is going down and also still outperforming it. So at this particular moment, what we got going on here is that Bitcoin value is still going up, but also outperforming it. But does this mean this is alt season? I really don't think so. So we'll see what happens. Like I believe, and I could be wrong, of course. I believe that we still might go down a little bit more. Bitcoin dominance might go down, but it's probably not going to get below 50% anytime soon. It could go down more, but then it's just going to go back up again. I think in a couple of months, it's going to go back up again. And we're not going to have the top this cycle. This is what, I just don't see it any other way. Based on all the economic factors, I just don't see this possible. So unless it just goes crashing, Bitcoin dominance just goes crashing through the floor and goes below 50% and just keeps on going down. But in order to do that, it would just have to be like nonstop from now right up until November. So we'll see. But I had this here.
Today, the House sends the Genius Act stablecoin regulation to President. Okay, let's talk more about those legislative.
Yeah, interesting information for those of you who don't know more about these bills. I don't know much about these bills.
Legislative wins for the crypto industry. Crypto Week on Capitol Hill is wrapping up on a high note after the House passed 3 crypto-related bills yesterday afternoon. There's the Genius Act stablecoin regulation bill, which the Senate passed with bipartisan support last month and now moves to the president's desk. Then there's the market structure.
So you already signed it. So this was on Friday, probably like right just before we signed
package known as the Clarity Act, which would set rules of the road for crypto. And finally, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, which would prevent the Fed from creating a central bank digital currency. Both the Clarity Act and the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act now move to the Senate for consideration. These developments did not come without some drama, as the bill stalled multiple times this week, with House Republicans disagreeing on whether to combine the legislation. Ultimately, Republican leaders put the 3 bills for a separate vote, focusing on the Genius Act, which passed on a 308 to 122 vote yesterday. That bill would set consumer protections for stablecoins, which are tied to an asset, often the US dollar. As of 1 p.m. at the time of filming, the president hasn't signed that bill yet, but he's expected to later this afternoon, as he has been vocal about his support for that piece of legislation, urging lawmakers to vote yes both during a White House meeting and in a post on Truth Social. The Blockchain Association's CEO joined Squawk Box this morning, where she explained how she anticipates the stablecoin space will evolve now that there's going to be regulatory guardrails in place.
I think you'll just continue to see this industry grow. The guardrails provide the customer protections that were needed to ensure that those who want to be invested in this space have the protections in place that they need. And really what we're seeing is a dollar dominance with stablecoins that will continue, and we're going to fulfill the president's wish of making the United States the crypto capital of the world.
Wall Street is also eagerly awaiting these new stablecoin rules. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said the bank will get involved in stablecoins during an earnings call earlier in the week. He said that while he does...
Yeah, all good stuff. But I'm going to get into those coins where, what I was talking about in my last live stream, where there were a bunch of these Inu coins, these dog coins that, what is this? This is for the day, right? So this is Akita Inu. It pumped last cycle. So it was beginning of 2021, and you can see right here, and it did not get any centralized exchanges, which is freaking insane. So 3 billion. Look at that. This is a daily candle here. So this particular day, a 3 billion, that was the high. So yeah, it's just rather interesting. This is why I talk about a lot of these Matt Fury coins. Like last cycle was all this whole dog theme, and everybody just wanted to buy dogs and tons of dogs, right? So this is probably going to be similar. This cycle is probably going to have the similar, surge, but it's going to be a surge in Math-Theory tokens. And, you know, a lot of them don't have to be in a lot of centralized exchanges. As the normies are going to flood in. People are just going to be flooding in. They're going to be looking for Math-Theory coins to buy. All these other ones, all these other obscure ones. So it's not going to just be Pepe and Bread and Landwolf. It might just, you know, it might be others that I'm sure Hoppy is going to make a huge comeback, and, you know, anything like that. Definitely Hoppy, because it's on a ton of centralized exchanges, right? Definitely it's on Pionex and all that stuff. But then we have another one. This is Kishu. Let's go to a daily candle. Yeah. So Kishu just came out of nowhere. Kishu, this was in the first top, right? Kishu. So Akita Inu hit its all-time high in the second top of the double top last cycle. And Kishu just came out of nowhere, and like a month later, it hit a $2 billion market cap. I mean, like this is like, you know, like my buttons. I gotta figure these out again. I went almost 2 months. I can't even figure all my buttons are, but but yeah, this is like the craziness that happened last cycle. Kishu Inu is like Akita Inu, Kishu Inu. No centralized exchanges. A month, like after 1 month later, and it's I mean, it's insane, right? 2 billion. It launches in April, and then in May it does that. This is why you got to look out for any of these new tokens, any of these new coins that just appear. You know, maybe they haven't launched yet. You know, they might launch tomorrow, it might launch next month, and then you never know. Like a few weeks later, they're gonna be like through the, you know, to the moon, and you just never know what's going to happen and which one is going to be or whatever. But just stay vigilant. Another one is this one called what is it? Doge, rather than Doge, right? No centralized exchanges. It was the same situation. Oh yeah, it was only a 400 million market cap. Yeah, but it happens. It happens. No centralized exchanges. Things go wild, right? So, by the way, hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button, right? Good alpha here, right? Get yourself prepared for all this wild ride that we got coming down the pike, right? It's going to be one of the biggest bull runs imaginable. I still believe that, and there's not going to be like no 150K Bitcoin that's going to happen. Like they say it's going to happen in a couple of months. You know, I'm going to top out. I mean, that'll be like the most boring bull run ever, man. If something like that happens. Think about it like now. It's like Bitcoin is like right now it's 123, and it's just going to pump, you know, like 20% or whatever to 130K, and that's going to be this massive top, you know, the top of the bull run. Bitcoin, oh my God, from 123K to maybe 150K or to 150K. Like, wow, like no way. There's no way that's not good. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. Like, I really don't think so. Yeah, Kaspa should be 15 cents very soon. I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. That's why I make this video about it. I'm going to talk about I was looking at the pumps with with Kaspa. Kaspa's doing pretty damn good right now, but the pumps what I'm seeing with the KRC20 tokens as of just like Friday evening, it's been nuts. So yeah, let's get into that. Like I think my last live stream was like Wednesday or Thursday. And I brought up this list, and I was like, what does it mean? So they say if it's not me getting a cold in the winter, it's me with allergies in the summer. Like I was just mowing outside. So, but anyways, yeah, it was like Wednesday or Thursday, and I was like, Kroak is at like a $269,000 market cap. A 269K market cap. right? And now it's like it's like double that. It's like holy shit. And like I saw these pumps starting to happen like Friday evening. It was, I think Friday morning there was still like reasonable prices. Well, the whole market was pumping, all the alts, all the everything was pumping, including Bitcoin. The whole week last week during crypto week, right? And then okay, now Bitcoin is just is not really pumping right now. Last couple of days and so on, but we out of the blue the KRC20 tokens are pumping, right? And Kaspy is doing pretty good, right? So. Let me see. Just I'll pull up the Kaspa chart. Oops. Go to coin market cap, CMC. Right. I was looking at it a couple hours ago and I was like, it's going to go back to 10 cents, right? I don't know if it did already. Let's see. Okay, so it's not, yeah, it's almost there, almost at 10 cents, right? Or did it get to that today? Oh, there's a daily. It was at 9927 today, right? 99. Yeah, it was like, Jesus Christ, just skimmed all, right by 10 cents. But yeah. But yeah, Kaspa's doing pretty good today. And then the what is this? Everything else. So I'm looking at, I mean, these are still like rock solid plays. When Kaspa goes parabolic, we got smart contracts, everything is this is gonna set this certain, send these to the moon. And that's why I was bringing up some of these other Inu coins, right? So it's not only to point out Matt Fury, right, and what could happen, potentially what could happen, but potentially what could happen with these KRC20 tokens, especially when the smart contracts get hooked up. You don't necessarily need centralized exchanges. If Kaspa is going parabolic and like the Coinbase, Binance, if Kaspa just gets listed towards the end of the bull cycle top, like a month beforehand, and they're going to predict it. They're probably going to coordinate when it's going to happen, when they're going to, when they're going to list it, all the remaining major centralized exchanges, and they're going to list it when things are going parabolic. It's going to push Kaspa to the moon, and then people are going to look at KRC20 tokens, and they're going to be sparsely listed on a few centralized exchanges here and there, right? Some of them have more than others, like Kroak and Konan and definitely Nacho. They're going to be listed on a handful of centralized exchanges, while others are probably not going to be listed on any centralized exchanges at all. But while Kaspa's going parabolic and people are learning about it, and people are hearing it for the first time, and they want to buy into it, they're going to find these KRC20 tokens, and that's where we're going to see those 1000Xs. That's where we're going to see that's where we're going to see charts like this with Akita Inu in 2021, or I like this one better. Kishu is like even better because Akita launched in February of 2021 and it hit its top, the 3 billion in May, right? oh no, so this first top was in April. I thought this was November before. Okay, whatever. But yeah. But what's even cooler is Kishu Inu that launched in April and then went to 2 billion in May. That is like freaking insane. So like that's what I'm thinking is going to happen with these KRC20 tokens. Let's go. Yeah, I know. My price prediction for Kaspa and Solana by end of the run. I'm not really following Solana. I mean, I'm not really gauging it. Like I'm just buy Solana so I can buy meme coins, right? So, but Kaspa, yeah. When it comes to this whole parabolic run and getting listed, like by all these centralized exchanges, like a month before the top, yeah. I mean, it's like minimum $5 a Kaspa. and then it'll just break through power law. And there's no, there's no telling. I can't imagine that. If some of you see my other videos about my power law chart, I can bring it up, but crypto rich. I'll just go to the site. Oh wait, it's just. I got my videos up. So, do I have that link to from here? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's at the top too. Okay, yeah. So this is my Kaspa Power Law chart, and yeah, it looks pretty grim. But this chart is dynamic, and it kept on adjusting because it was breaking through minimum support, so the line had to recalculate and go downward because it was becoming unrealistic, because it would have been like Kaspa is like under minimum support this whole time for months and months and months. So so this is recalculated, but I do believe that if the bull run top, and I don't believe it's November of this year, I believe it's going to happen next year, but even if even if this max resistance says like $1.70, $1.80, I think $2, I think it's just going to way beyond that. So anybody's got a significant amount of Kaspa right now, they're going to be sitting pretty. And if you don't have a significant amount of Kaspa, you should probably get some. Not financial advice, but it'll be a good idea because it's still under 10 cents. And this is relatively still under my average buy price, right? Because like I said, my average buy price, I guesstimate to be like 11 cents. Because I bought like tons and tons and tons of it at 10, 11, 12 cents. So if it goes to like, $5 a Kaspa, geez, that's when we're getting our Lambos. Well, you got to buy into it now because it's not going to stay this way for long. And considering that it's pumping like right now, next week it could go to, like here, like next 15 cents, like next, who knows, 15 cents. It happens. It's not unrealistic to say Kaspa can pump 50% in the next, a week or two or so. Probably won't happen, but it's not unrealistic. So yeah, but Solana, I don't know. What's the market cap? When I started live stream, just this live stream is when I started talking about Litecoin. I don't necessarily buy into a lot of the higher market cap Dino tokens because they don't really have the multipliers available, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't think we're going to do it. I don't think you're going to go 10x with Solana. I mean, like I was saying, with these Dino tokens, the tokens like it was Cardano on here, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like a 5x with Solana, and that's probably wishful. Or maybe not. It all depends on how parabolic things get. But yeah, the multipliers are definitely available, more available with Kaspa, because you're talking like 50x potential with Kaspa. So the multipliers are there. You invest $1,000 in the Kaspa, you might realistically expect 50,000 or something like that. Could it be worse than that? Yeah. Could it be better than that? Yeah, too. It could also be better than that. So, but I'm not holding Solana. I held Solana. I made a ton. I made a killing last cycle of Solana, but not this cycle. Just meme coins for me. But yeah, with Kroak. Going back to my example with like Kishu and Akita, we could pass $1 billion market cap with Kroak. We can easily do that with Konan, Kaspy, with Casper even. I don't know about Bert. I don't know if people are going to FOMO into Bert. I mean, there are reasons why, you know, people buy Kaspy. The narrative is strong. Casper, you know, so Casper is, you know, a ghost. So Kaspa is a ghost DAG, right? So ghost DAG protocol. So it makes sense. Konan has a rock solid narrative, just like Kaspy. Goat has some good marketing. So they're probably going to get more centralized exchanges. And I mean that, and all of them are going to do that. So I don't know about BERT. Will people FOMO into BERT? I'm sure the multiplier is going to be there, at least a 50x, right? Because it's, you know, 1.5 million right now. But what do people want to FOMO into? You know, Krex has got some good multipliers ahead of it. Maybe another 50x. Same thing with Kiro. But it all depends on what they do too. They create a lot of hype. If they can create FOMO, if they got good marketing, if they got good content, they create killer content, and, you know, maybe get some more centralized exchanges. So you can't hope for the fact that you know, things are going to pump without the centralized exchanges. But Kaspa goes parabolic, and then we got the smart contracts coming in, and you can actually swap and start trading these like really easy without having to use, you know, Telegram and the Casper bot. We'll be doing good. I'm definitely bullish on Kappy. Kappy's got I think it pumped to like over 100K. I checked this like a month ago or so, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, 50, definitely like 100x potential. And we'll see what everything else. Kachi, I think, is another good one. I think Czar just went inactive. Let me check it out. Yeah, it's 20K market cap, right? Let's just for the hell of it, let's just check to see what it went inactive. And to be fair, nothing's going on with them, but at least you could do is post something. Nothing's going on with the KRC20s, right? Nah, if they haven't posted since March, that's kind of nuts. Unless when things start pumping, they just suddenly become active. Because again, I go back to my example with Kishu. You know, it launches and then like a month later, it's to the moon. So what else we got going on? I don't know about any others here. None of these really call my attention in these lower cap ones. I even got some Kirby back in the day. I think I minted it. Yeah, but things are pumping right now. Froppy, I got a little bit of Froppy. Got some Bomo. I thought it was weird that they launched another Bomo on base, but it was, you know, without being bridged. But I'll check out Froppy right now. Just check out Froppy. Froppy is still posting, I guess a few weeks ago, so it's July 5th. They're posting once a day until July 5th. So does that mean they dropped off the face of the earth? I hope not, because that'll suck. All right. Yeah, it happens. It happens. You know what? Let me play. This is kind of funny, this video. It keeps... I'm going to play this, go back to KRC20s in a second. Hold up. So...
value to this asset. And now it's starting to be...
Yeah, it's kind of crazy what this guy is saying, man.
Priced appropriately. So it has a, you know, what's Bitcoin at? 16,000? It has another 17,000 to go down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no intrinsic value to this product.
And do you think that people have just inherently like lost faith in the idea behind crypto because of FTX?
Well, it became an ideology, and whenever you invest based on an ideology, you're going to make some decisions that are a little divorced from math.
And what do you mean by?
By the way, guys, if you have any KRC20s you wanted me to take a look at, just let me know. Just drop a message in the chat.
ideology.
Well, the people who really like crypto are convinced that it's the currency of the future and that a decentralized ledger is the way to go, and that anything that is controlled by a government entity is by definition a negative, and if it's done by the private sector freely, it will be better. And that's just not how currency works. Currency is a method of exchange and a store of value. And for that, there has to be a degree of trust, and you have to have it managed in terms of volume. I mean, one of the craziest things about Bitcoin is that there will never be more than X number of units of Bitcoin. Well, by default, that means it can't be used for trade, because the whole idea of economic activity is that there's expansion, which means you need more currency to lubricate and manage that expansion. If currency is locked in at a specific number, you get monetary inflation, and that is one of the fastest ways to destroy an economic model.
Yeah, I guess this guy wished he bought some Bitcoin back and he was talking this smack back in 2016. When was it? So, no, it was in 2016 or 2023, right? Yeah, so it's kind of nuts. Anyways, that's that for that. You find these things is kind of crazy. So, yo, what's going on with Cranky? I remember there was some buzz about this. My Discord members were talking about this. Cranky. This was rather interesting because it was like a trucker who was live streaming his trips, his rides. And they're still posting. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Stay in the game. That's all you need. Stay in the game. You'll become a billionaire. So that's where that is. I mean, I guess I don't know if I can talk about any more of this stuff because nobody wants to drop me a message. Nobody wants to check out BTC. Doesn't necessarily have meme coin, but yeah, let's not talk about this, but what is this? Over Kaspa card game. I don't know about this one. I don't know about that one. But anyways, there was another one. What was this other one? Hold up. Let me check something. Put a small amount on this one. Is it out of the game already? Supposed to be an aggregator. Yeah, it's still active. So yeah, what's today's date? Today's the 20th, yeah. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Close this guy out. Yeah, man. This is going back to what this other guy was saying about currency and stuff like that. So imagine working a 9 to 5 for 50 years. The Fed prints 40% of the total money supply and inflates away 20 years of your work. Yeah, yeah. And that's what we have. You got to send this meme over to them, to that guy in that video, that previous video we watched. What an idiot. Oh, this is fun. This is not crypto related, but this is interesting. Oops. The friendship that wasn't. I thought the gator was either gonna try to attack the cat or the cat was just gonna like slap it, doing one of those real quick slaps, and then it gets scared and runs away. But the gator actually let him hitch a ride across the water to the like, it makes me think we need a good gator meme, right? Oh yeah, we do. We have Kroak, right? Yeah, Kroak is a gator. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, I was like, I wasn't expecting that at all. I was like, that's crazy. Old season, hard old season coming, incoming. It's funny, right? Them Bitcoin is it going to get that high? So this is a very interesting. The same trade that makes you $10 will make you 10 million, and will make you $1 million in the future. Claim it today. Yeah. So I've been for those of you who are not in my Discord and stuff like that, you know, I got like a ton of software that, you know, seeks out new coins, finds new coins at a very low market cap, and, you know, spits them out to us and sends us alerts in the channels and so on. We've been making a killing. If you want to look at least some of the coins, not all of them are here, but some of these are mixed between my buy alerts before the software, like Turbo. I was buying it before I made the software, and, you know, same thing with Hoppy. But I found Nero and Farcoin, found a ton of these. I mean, found Peanut, and we did these multipliers. In case you're interested in joining, but right now we're receiving all-time high alerts. There's another piece of software in my community where it sends us messages. We get sent messages whenever our coins are becoming near to an all-time high or achieve an all-time high, you know, so we know, so we don't forget about them and don't realize that you know, it achieved an all-time high and we just forgot to take profits. So we get these alerts. And Pythia is another one. This is an insider alert play. There's different algorithms, different processes in my community. And Pythia is another one, just like every single day, receiving all-time high alerts, like twice a day, you know, every day. And we're at a 19x right now. Woo. Man, it's like, yeah, I was like, it was at 16x, you know, like it's a couple of days ago. We're killing it, man. We're crushing it. And I gotta add in more to this the page here. This is dynamically calculated, but I gotta go into my system and just make sure they get into this page here, because we do make a killing. But going back to this, so we have been experimenting recently in the last few weeks with like the ultra degen tokens. And I've never been a degen trader. I've always you know, I've always been into safer plays. It's only like since last cycle, the market caps I've been experimenting just keeps going down, 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 to the point where now we're scanning coins as soon as they launch. We're scanning tokens and we're analyzing them. We're analyzing everything they do, everything about them, you know, their performance, their price action, their Twitter, everything that they do. So the software in my community is scanning them. So right now we're trying to fine tune the ultra degen plays. And what I've been doing right now, I'm like, there's been a couple where we made a killing on. So say, let's go to Deck Screener. There's one of them, I had a 60x. I was like, holy crap. Was it Bobby the Cat, BTC? So, and I started cashing out, taking profits at 50x. But I don't know if it's met its end, but they just did a rebrand and like a week ago, and I know they announced a centralized exchange, I think Bitmart or something. But there have been like this one. I don't want to give away all of them, but Average Joe. So it's this one right here. So this is one we captured. Just Average Joe. And I got a little brave with, what was this? There's one that, it was like base. Damn. Base coin. I can't type. Is it this one? it was like almost a mirror image of Average Joe. And it was a good play. And then I was like, okay, I put in $200. But then like the devs abandoned it. So I'm like, I'm trying to analyze what they did, what they are doing different from, from Average Joe and all, these other ones. And we're trying to continue to add things in. It's really unfortunate because this was receiving a lot of hype, but people in the first 5 hours were identifying that there's hype all over the internet with people talking about it and sharing it and, talking about how I'm like, damn, this has got a lot of activity. And then it's like, I don't know why they do that. The devs sometimes they just bail out of a coin, even though it's like they built a killer website. There's effort into the website. It's not just a page with just crap. I don't know why. I don't know why devs do that. It's just like you can make more money in the long run if you just don't abandon it. But anyways, this is what I just got reminded of this, that a lot of these degen trades, I'm going to be putting like $10, whatever my software is spitting out as degen trades with this new software that we're working on. We're trying to enhance it and upgrade it, every single day, make it smarter, more intelligent. So I'm gonna make a list of all these $10 trades, all these $10 plays. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get a 10x on each and every one of them, right? And that'll turn to $100. And as we keep on finding new coins, right, I'm going to take that 100 and I'm going to just, rinse and repeat, put into the next round. That's going to be $100, right? And then I'm just going to, I'm going to try to 10x it again. And it's like, keep on 10xing it. And I guess eventually you're going to end up with something like this. Now, there is going to be a case like with Basecoin, that token, where, it just went to hell because the devs like totally suck and you're just going to lose it all. But there's going to be other cases like I just showed you with Bobby the Cat, BTC, and it went a 60x. I guess in those cases, I could wait for a 10x and I can sell half. And, so let's say $10 as a 10x, you get a $100 bag. I take 50 out to put into the next one, and I'll leave the remaining 50 to see what happens. Because if I completely sold out of the if I completely sold out of Bobby the Cat at a 10x, then I wouldn't have, rode it all the way up to the 60x where I started to cash out at a 50x. So, so leave in half and just see what happens and let it ride. But yeah, we're working with this. There's a ton of new plays. So link in the description below if you want to check it out. The community is called Crypto Rich. And there's more than that. There's tons of software too. I mean, now you can actually log into the site and you can use it as a trade assister, so you can help with swing trading. And things like that, just like tons of stuff. We just monitor everything. We know whenever our tokens are gaining centralized exchanges, we know, like I was just saying, somebody in my community today was asking me, what do I think about Broke? Why am I so bullish on Broke or something like that? And I'm like, if you compare Broke to some of the other base plays, Broke is just absolutely crushing it with centralized exchanges, right? And we can see that. We can see what centralized exchange is acquired by these tokens and when. Whereas with CoinMarketCap, you just go to CoinMarketCap and let's just go to Broke, I guess. You go to CoinMarketCap and you have no idea when any particular centralized exchange was added, right? It's just a list of centralized exchanges. But in my community, we get alerted when Broke gets a new centralized exchange. And we can compare it too. And I'm like, you compare the last 2 months of Broke to like Dog and Me, like KeyCat, right? Those are good base plays, right? Because they're on Coinbase. They've been listed on Coinbase, but they're not getting any other centralized exchanges. Like Broke is like rivaling Toshi with the amount of centralized exchanges that they're getting week after week. on a weekly basis, 1 or 2 new centralized exchanges. Or maybe there's a week, where there isn't a centralized exchange, but the next week there's 2 or something like that. So Toshi is getting centralized exchanges, and we're able to see that in my community. So anyways, guys, link in the description below if you want to check that out. And I guess that's it for now. I don't have a video. Usually I leave a video, one of my hyper-edited videos set up in the end. But I guess I gotta get back into doing that too. So yeah, Broke is on a discount the last couple of days. I think base on a whole. Base on a whole. Hold on, let's go. Let's base tokens. Yeah, I think they're making a good base is making a comeback. Yesterday, like everything was red. We were just talking about everything was red with base. Anyways, this is crypto. I'm gonna sign off and I'm gonna get back to my stuff and see if we can get things going and make tons of money. I'll catch you guys laters.
Code Monkey, Code Monkey.